Welcome to this training in self-hypnosis. I'm Marshall Silver. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to put yourself into trance and how to structure your self-hypnotic suggestions. Before we begin our session together, it's important for you to know who you're working with. So, look into my eyes and let the magic of video tell the story.
What's on the tube tonight?
It's Late Night with David Letterman. Tonight, hypnotist Marshall Silver.
Not all of them, but we're going to show you one. His name is Marshall Silver, and he's a hypnotist. And after seeing this piece, I'm sure that every woman out there is going to want a magic peephole.
All right, we're back. It is time now for us to bring a late show regular here. He calls himself the world's fastest hypnotist. And tonight, we're going to see one of his biggest challenges. He is going to hypnotize an entire section of our audience simultaneously. Everything goes well. His name is Marshall Silver.
In this session, I'm going to do a number of things. I'm going to remove all your myths about hypnosis. I'm also going to teach you what it really is, as well as how to respond to hypnotic suggestion. I'm also going to give you my personal strategies for creating the most effective hypnotic suggestions ever. To begin with, get comfortable. And be sure that you won't be disturbed for at least the first 20 minutes of this lesson. As you're learning the techniques of hypnosis and autosuggestion, you may want to stop me from time to time and back me up so that you can gain the full impact of our lesson together. You have many resources at your command, most of which you already use in some way. During our time together, you'll learn to relax and let your life happen on purpose. You'll learn to become more powerful, and power is for use. Hypnosis is an extraordinary state of mental, physical, and psychological relaxation. In this relaxed state, you're most responsive to suggestion. Hypnosis is also something that absolutely anybody can use. It's not magic. It's simply a way of creating new responses for your mind and body. Most people don't realize that they're responding to self-imposed trance suggestions every day. Let me give you an example. If a person has a tough time getting up in the morning, they have to actually give themselves suggestions to make this difficult. I mean, how difficult is it to simply hoist yourself up, swing your legs over, stand up on the side of the bed? The majority of us are fortunate enough that we have the physical ability to do this. You must convince yourself mentally that this is difficult, or you wouldn't stop yourself from getting up and keep hitting that sleep button on your alarm clock to get just 5 more minutes. When you've convinced yourself that it's hard to get up, or hard to stop smoking, or difficult to do anything else, you've done exactly what hypnosis is. And if you can do that, you've got what it takes to be a great hypnotic subject. You have non-critically accepted suggestions. Hypnosis is the process of responding to what I call mind triggers. You see, you have two minds. You have a conscious mind, and you have a subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is what we call the critical factor. It's the mind you're listening to me with right now, to determine whether the information I'm giving to you is appropriate for you or not. Your subconscious mind, on the other hand, is simply a computer. It's non-critical. It doesn't know how to make judgment. When you learn how to non-critically accept suggestion and become more powerful, you've learned the elements of hypnosis. When hypnosis can learn to support you in the things that you're learning in your life, then you can use it more fully to create more powerful existence. Here's a great way to learn about non-critically accepting suggestions. What I want you to do is to find yourself a piece of string or yarn, approximately 18 inches long. Tie that piece of string or yarn to a weight, such as a finger ring, a set of keys, or a similar object. Stop me right now while you take care of that. And when you have improvised your homemade pendulum and you're ready to continue, we'll go on. For now, just put me on pause. Welcome back. Hold the end of your pendulum like this. Place one hand beneath the pendulum so that it's about 1 inch away. Look directly at the weight on the end of the string and imagine, visualize, see the pendulum moving back and forth. In your mind's eye, imagine. See the pendulum begin to swing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The more you visualize it, the more you use your imagination. Allow your mind and eyes to trace that path that you desire the pendulum to move. And as you concentrate, the pendulum will indeed begin moving back and forth. In fact, the more you concentrate, the more it swings back and forth, back and forth. That's fine. You're doing perfectly. Stop the pendulum, no matter how much it's moving now. I want you to begin to concentrate on moving the pendulum in a circle. Once again, look directly at the pendulum and see it moving in a circle. Concentrate. Visualize. Imagine the pendulum is now moving in a circle, spinning, turning, moving and rotating in a circle. Concentrate. Imagine. See the circle getting larger. Visualize the circle getting larger and larger, rotating and moving and rotating. That's fine. You're doing perfectly. Stop your pendulum right now and let's talk about what causes that pendulum to move. You should be able to produce the same results that I am simply by understanding that what causes the pendulum to move is that what you expect you tend to realize and what you believe is true. As long as you believe the pendulum will move and you concentrate, visualize in the direction you want it to move, there's nothing you can do, say, or think that will stop your arm from moving psychosomatically. Psychosomatically means psycho the mind and soma the body. Your mind will cause your arm to move just enough to produce that movement in the pendulum. You'll always move in the direction of your dominant thoughts. As long as you truly believe the pendulum will move, it will. Practice again on moving the pendulum. And once you're effective in obtaining the same movement as I am right now, we'll continue. For the moment, simply practice. And once again, put me on pause. You're doing great. Set your pendulum down, and we'll go on with the lesson. As I work with another subject here in the studio to teach you how to respond more fully, do exactly as we do here. Hello there. Say your name.
Rebecca.
Hello, Rebecca. I'd like you to now sit back in your chair in a comfortable position. Put your feet flat on the floor. You do the same. Put your hands down in your lap. In a moment, I'm going to begin relaxing you. As I do, there'll never be a time when you won't be able to hear the sounds going on all around you. Any sound you hear will simply allow you to concentrate more fully on the sound of my voice. Breathe in deeply. And you too. And breathe out. Breathe in deep relaxation. And breathe out all your anxiety. Continue breathing deeply until I tell you otherwise. In a moment, I'm going to tell you to begin concentrating on one of your hands. The moment you do, you'll become aware of many things. You'll become aware of a peaceful sensation going through your body. And as you begin concentrating on that hand will begin to feel light and relaxed. In fact, the more you concentrate, the lighter that hand will seem until it begins rising and lifting and rising. The more you concentrate, the further up it will go, as if there were a giant bouquet of helium balloons attached to your wrist. Right now, breathe in deeply, and now breathe out. And now simply close your eyelids down until I tell you to open them. You'll always be able to open your eyes unless I give you a direct suggestion otherwise, and I don't intend to do so. Allow your eyelids to remain closed, as hypnosis is a state of mind and not a state of eyelids. As you allow your eyelids to remain closed and begin concentrating on your hand now, as you concentrate on one of your hands, your eyelids remain closed, and as you do, you become aware of many things. You become aware of a peaceful sensation going through your body. And as you begin concentrating, you become aware of the feeling of your fingertips. You become aware of the feeling of your leg beneath your fingertips, of the material beneath your fingertips. And as you concentrate on that hand, you become aware of a relaxation going through your body and a tingling sensation in your hand. As you concentrate, one of your fingers will now move slightly. It may be your index finger, your middle finger, or your thumb. One of your fingers will now move slightly, and that hand begins to feel light and relaxed. In fact, so light it feels as if that hand will now begin rising and lifting and rising, relaxing itself right off of your lap, right off of the chair, right into the air. The more you concentrate, the lighter that hand seems, and you're concentrating perfectly, as if there were a giant bouquet of helium balloons attached to your wrist, rising and lifting and rising further and further up with each and every easy breath you take. As you concentrate, one of your fingers will move slightly. It may be your index finger, your middle finger, or your thumb. One of your fingers will move slightly, and that hand continues to relax itself. And it begins to rise and to lift and to rise further and further up. With each and every easy breath you take, rising and lifting and rising further and further up. In a moment, I'm going to count backwards from 3 to 1, and as I do, it will feel as if those balloons are expanding to 10 times their original size. Number 3, rising and lifting and rising. On the next number, number 2, balloons expand again to 100 times their original size, moving further and further up. 3, 2, rising and lifting and rising. On the next number, number 1, balloons expand to 10,000 times their original size, taking it further and further toward the ceiling and further toward the sky. 3, 2, and 1. That's fine. You're concentrating perfectly. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. The moment I say the number 3, you'll open your eyes. You'll look at your hand, and you'll see just how well you've concentrated. On the count of 3, open your eyes, look at your hand, and see how well you've concentrated. 1, 2, and 3. Open your eyes now, look at your hand, and see how well you've concentrated. Just relax it back down now. As you've relaxed yourself and concentrated on that hand, you should be able to relax your arm at least somewhat as close to what the subject on screen has done. Once you've learned this process more completely, by simply practicing, you'll achieve these same results. If you need more instruction on arm levitation, and you need to master it more completely, just back me up, and we'll go through it again. Otherwise, we'll continue with our final lesson in hypnosis. Before I begin teaching you those elements, though, make sure that you practice arm levitation again. So stop me, back me up if you need to view it again. Otherwise, practice the arm levitation now. Now that you've mastered arm levitation, we'll continue. First, it's important to recognize how completely you can relax, because in this relaxed state of mind, body, and spirit called hypnosis, you're most responsive to suggestion. You go through a state similar to hypnosis twice a day, once as you awaken and once as you go to sleep. It's that point right before you sleep and right before you awaken when your mind, body, and spirit are relaxed. You can still hear what's going on around you. Your attention is simply focused in a specific direction or area. Now, to teach you how to relax, I'm going to once again work with Rebecca. I want you to follow along exactly and do as I say. Extend your arm straight out in front of you. That's fine. Take and turn your thumb straight up. What I want you to do is I'm going to grab a hold of your thumb, Rebecca, and I want you to now relax your arm. Just let it go limp and loose, as if it were made from a handful of loose rubber bands. In a moment, I'm going to let it go. And when it's as relaxed as it possibly can be, I want you to simply say yes. Yeah. That's fine. In a moment, I'm going to let go of your arm, and it should drop as if it were a book dropping from my hand straight down. You relaxed?
Yes.
Then let's go. It should drop down just like that. Notice how it does drop, as if it were limp, like a wet rag right down into her lap. I want you to do the same thing with yourself. Just take one hand, stick it straight out, and grab your thumb with your opposite hand, or you can grab your wrist if you need to. Hold that hand in the air and begin to relax it. And as you relax it, make sure that it's completely relaxed. As it's completely relaxed and you let it go, what I want you to do is make sure it's limp and loose, and then simply let it go. When you do, it should drop into your lap, once again, as if it were a limp, wet rag. What I want you to do is to also understand that when you've learned to relax your hand completely, you can relax the rest of your body completely. So take the time to stop me right now and learn how to relax your arm that completely. If there's someone near you that's viewing this video along with you, it can be fun for the two of you to take turns relaxing your arms. And when you've done that, come on back. Remember that as you relax your hand, you should learn to also relax your shoulder, your arm, and all the muscles around that body part to allow yourself the utmost relaxation. When you're ready, we'll continue. That's fine. You're doing perfectly. In our next lesson, I'm going to instruct you to take 3 deep breaths. With each breath, you're going to say these words out loud. Relaxing now. You'll take one breath and you'll say, relaxing now. You'll take the second breath and you'll say, relaxing now. The third breath, you'll also say, relaxing now. By the third breath, if not before, You're going to simply relax your eyelids, close them down. You're going to scoot back into a more comfortable position, and you're simply going to let go. Do exactly as I say. The moment I say go, take those 3 deep breaths, one at a time, and say those words out loud. Relaxing now with each and every easy breath you take. As you do, just close your eyelids down and relax your body. It'll look something like this. Just sit back in your chair, Rebecca. Put your feet flat on the floor. In a moment, I'm going to say the word go, and you're going to take 3 deep breaths. With each breath, you're going to say, relaxing now. And as you do, your eyelids are going to close down. Your body is going to relax, and you're simply going to now let go. Breathe in deeply, and go.
Relaxing now. Relaxing now.
That's fine. Your eyelids now close down. Your body relaxes.
Relaxing now.
Limp and loose, as if every muscle were made from a handful of loose rubber bands. That's fine. You've done perfectly. I want you to do the same. Sit back in your chair. Close your eyelids down. With each breath, you'll say the words, relaxing now. You may begin. Breathe in deeply. Relaxing now. That's fine. You're doing perfectly. Your eyelids begin to close down. You continue to relax as if every muscle were made from a handful of loose rubber bands. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. The moment I say the number 3, you'll open your eyes, feeling fantastic in every way. On the count of 3, open your eyes, feeling fantastic in every way. 1, 2, and 3. Just open your eyes, and you open your eyes there too. In a moment, I'm going to say the word go again. The moment that I do, you're going to repeat this process. Breathing in deeply and saying relaxing now. Letting each and every easy breath you take relax your body more completely. Once again, Rebecca, breathe in deeply and go.
Relaxing now.
And your muscles begin to relax.
Relaxing now.
Eyelids now closing down.
Relaxing now.
Limp and loose as if you were made from a handful of loose rubber bands. Once again, you do the same. Breathe in deeply and say relaxing now. That's fine. And again, relaxing now. And a third time, your body now completely relaxes and you let go. That's fine. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3 again. The moment I do, you'll open your eyes. Continue relaxing until I say the number 3, and then open your eyes. 1, 2, and 3. Open your eyes now, fully aware, wide awake. You're going to repeat that process once again. This time, instead of saying the words, relaxing now, out loud, I want you to simply think them to yourself. You may find that your eyelids close down more rapidly now. That's how they should respond. You should also relax more completely in your body. That's because each and every time you respond in a given fashion to any circumstance, it becomes increasingly easier to respond in that fashion again. I want you in your own mind to count from 1 to 3 of your own accord. And you'll bring yourself back to full awareness as if I were talking to you. It will look like you breathing in deeply, saying relaxing now, going into that relaxed state, and then thinking the words 1, 2, and 3, and opening your eyes. I'll wait a few moments while you do this. To give you an idea of what it will look like, Rebecca will do it for you now. The moment I say go, Rebecca, I want you to simply think the words relaxing now with each breath you take. Relax your body. After your body has relaxed for 5, 10, 15 seconds, you're going to mentally count from 1 to 3 and bring yourself back out of hypnotic relaxation. Get ready and go. Simply thinking the words relaxing now. That's fine. With each and every easy breath you take, just thinking those words. After you've allowed yourself to relax in this process, simply mentally think 1, 2, and 3 and bring yourself back out of trance. That's fine. Once you've mastered the process of completely relaxing yourself at will, then you can use this process to put yourself into trance and begin to program yourself for suggestions. Right now, take the time to practice again, putting yourself in trance by saying, relaxing now. After you've put yourself in trance, count yourself back out with a 3 count, and continue doing that until you feel comfortable. Put me on pause again, and come back once you've mastered that skill. Welcome back. And thank you, Rebecca, for helping us out. We all appreciate it. To understand how your mind works, I've created some rules to help you along. Understanding these rules will allow you the ability to use your mind as the powerful tool it really is. Here are the rules of the mind. Rule number 1. What you expect, you tend to realize. What this means is your mind will move in the direction of your dominant thought. Those things which you think about most tend to happen. Have you ever noticed that as you were thinking about purchasing a new car, that everywhere you looked it appeared as if everybody else was driving that car? Your mind will move in the direction of your dominant thought, and what you expect, you tend to realize. Number 2, imagination is more powerful than knowledge. What you believe is true for you. Albert Einstein said imagination is more powerful than knowledge. And what he meant was, if a person believes something, it's true for them. So what you must first do is learn to act as if what you want is already true, to attain that in your own life. Rule number 3. Every thought or emotion has a psychosomatic reaction. Worry thoughts trigger changes in your stomach that in time could lead to ulcers. Anger thoughts stimulate the adrenal glands and can cause your pupils to dilate. Just the same as when you get a hug that makes you feel warm on the inside, it's actually your mind causing your body temperature to increase. Rule number 4. An idea programmed into the subconscious mind will remain until it's replaced by another idea. The longer an idea is affixed in the subconscious mind, the more critical the conscious mind becomes in replacing it. This is how a habit is formed. We have mental and physical habits. To perform a physical habit, we must first form the mental habit. In other words, we must think before we act. If we wish to change a physical habit or action, we must first change the mental habit or thought. Some people believe that a cigarette calms them. This is an incorrect mental habit. Since nicotine is a stimulant, it couldn't possibly relax the nervous system. Since most people associate smoking with pleasurable situations such as dancing or socializing or dining, the cigarette has actually become a post-hypnotic suggestion, a mind trigger to positive psychosomatic reactions within the body. The body actually produces enough endorphins to combat the tar and nicotine and to relax the nervous system. Rule number 5. The less the conscious effort, the more the subconscious mind will respond. There's no such thing as pure willpower. If you've ever taken the time and tried to go to sleep at night and focused on sleeping, you realize that this is impossible. The more you focused on sleeping, the less you could sleep. The more you thought about sleeping, the more you tossed and turned. The key in getting yourself to sleep at night is to allow yourself to focus on one thing, such as the incredible outcomes you want in your life. And I promise you, you'll easily and readily drift off into nighttime sleep. Rule number 6. Each suggestion accepted allows greater acceptance of later suggestions. Small commitments lead to large commitments. That's why I've taught you already how to relax your body easily and readily. First with your arm, and then with the rest of your body. When you learn to relax that way, then you'll learn to relax even more completely and more easily and readily accept suggestions. Rule number 7. Your body will produce what your mind believes. Listen to that again. Your body will produce what your mind believes. Extended emotional belief can cause organic change. The more you focus on something, the more it's likely to show up in your body. That's why we have what's called dis-ease or disease. When you focus on something, it tends to occur. I had a client in my hypnotherapy office who kept talking about how his family and his job were a pain in the neck. 5 years later, he discovered that he had cancer in his neck. That's how powerful your mind really is. Rule number 8. we move in the direction of our most dominant thoughts. Since you do move in the direction of your most dominant thought, your mind responds most quickly and openly to suggestions that are similar to the preceding suggestions. That which we seek, we'll find. If you look for the bad in an individual or situation, your perceptions of that quality will be heightened. When you find the bad qualities, it will reinforce the previous thought structure and move you further in the direction of your negative feelings about that person or situation. After you've learned to relax and you want to begin writing your own hypnotic suggestions, I've got some strategies for you that I use to create mega impactful suggestions that my subconscious mind has an overwhelming desire to respond to. Use the following formula to write your own. Rule number 1 on forming a successful hypnotic suggestion is as follows. Use positive versus negative suggestions. A correct suggestion would be, my breath smells fresh as a non-smoker. An incorrect suggestion would be, my breath doesn't stink anymore. It's more powerful to say, I am slender and attractive. It's less empowering to say, I'm not fat. You see, it's impossible for your mind to hold a don't in its hand. When you program yourself to say, I don't overeat, all your mind can hear is overeat. So, use a positive versus the negative. Rule number 2, use the present tense. It's more appropriate to say, you sleep easily and readily at night. It's less effective to say, you find yourself going to sleep easily. You want to give a suggestion such as, I am a non-smoker, instead of saying, I'm going to become a non-smoker. You see, going to never happens. The present tense, positive tense rule applies for effective suggestion making. Rule number 3, be simple. Speak to your subconscious mind as if it were a bright child, as if it were operating on a 7-year-old level. I want you to realize that any verbose attempts at semantical effectiveness is bound to lose your subconscious mind and only decrease the level of power of that particular suggestion. At the same time, keep in mind rule number 4, and that is, use exciting, descriptive, and emotional words such as empowering, dramatic, effective, electrifying. These type of words will create more emotion on a subconscious level. And since your subconscious mind is the feeling mind, it will create more powerful suggestions for you to respond to. Rule number 5, use affirmative action. Let the suggestion you give yourself describe an action instead of an aptitude. It's correct to say, I speak clearly with purpose. It's not as effective to say, I'm able to get my message across. One is an attitude, one is an aptitude. Rule number 6, focus your suggestions. Begin by choosing one specific area of programming. Don't give yourself so many suggestions that it's impossible to focus. If you hypnotize yourself to become a non-smoker, don't suggest that your golf game is bettered by 7 strokes, or that you're a better public speaker, and that you remember all the names and faces that you meet instantly, and you're losing weight and becoming more powerful at work. Choose one area to describe the changes that you want to accomplish. Once your goal is reached, then you'll have a dramatic, positive place to go from to impact your acceptance of additional suggestions in the next series. Rule number 7, use all the available details. When you're writing suggestions for your programs, research that area of development to cover every attitude and behavior that you could concerning that goal. As an example, to help a person who wants to become a more effective entertainer, I'd create these kinds of suggestions. You love to entertain. You enjoy being the center of attention. The lights trigger an energy within you and allow you to feel empowered. The more you perform, the better you get. As you allow the audience's applause to empower you and make you more confident and more at ease in front of the cameras or on stage, you become a better entertainer. Next thing I want you to do is to realize that each and every time you make a goal, make it one that you can reach. So rule number 8 is use obtainable goals. Sometimes it's not appropriate to suggest perfection. You always plan your day exactly is an impossible goal for a mother of 3 lively children. and it would only lead to her frustration. You're always happy and excited might not also be such a great suggestion. Sometimes those emotions certainly wouldn't be appropriate for somber occasions. I want you to use the words that suggest perfection, such as always, in goals that you're capable of reaching. An example might be, I always sit down when I eat. I always set down my eating utensil between bites. Unobtainable goals will only lead to frustration and to your desire to go back to the old habits that never served you in the first place. Rule number 9, be exact. If the result you want to produce is measurable, such as a body weight or a golf score or a sales figure, then use the exact amount of that weight, score, or sales figure. Your mind will go for what you direct it to go for. In fact, the better idea is even to what I call task yourself. Create a greater resistance. Move a little further ahead than you think you really can get to. And that will allow your subconscious mind the ability to project forward and test you, to cause you to create greater results. Rule number 10, personalize it. Suggest your own personal change instead of the change of others. It's correct to say, I take full responsibility for my communication with others, both in the sending and the receiving of ideas. It's incorrect to say, other people listen to me and understand me. You never control other people. And in order for things to change, you must change. So when you program your subconscious mind with these suggestions, suggest something of your own change rather than the change of others. Rule number 11, use a post-hypnotic suggestion. A post-hypnotic suggestion is a word or a phrase that allows you to recall an entire suggestion instantly. What a post-hypnotic suggestion is like is the trigger on a gun that you've loaded, that you've packed with information, ideas, concepts, and emotion. And when you pull the trigger, it allows you to respond quickly to that suggestion that you've given yourself. The final rule, rule number 12, is that when you're programming for use of a post-hypnotic suggestion, use the first person. When you're reading your program aloud before placing yourself in trance, speak in the first person. I am confident. My message is interesting. When you're recording a cassette, use the second person. You are confident. Your message is interesting. Use of a cassette is actually what we call heterohypnosis, or hypnosis by another individual, even though it's your own voice. You now know how to put yourself into a relaxed state of mind, body, and spirit. And you know how your mind operates and the rules for structuring successful hypnotic suggestions. Take the time right now to stop me and write out a program that you can use to enhance your life. It should be approximately 8 to 10 minutes long when you read it out loud. You'll then want to record a cassette. After you've written your program, come on back and I'll teach you the ingredients for producing a successful self-hypnosis audio cassette. To create your self-hypnosis cassette, the best type of cassette to use is a C45. That's 22.5 minutes per side. This gives you ample opportunity to write your program and also to record the fractional induction. Step 2 is to write out your specific program, be it weight loss or non-smoking, prosperity or speaking clearly. Your program should be about 8 to 10 minutes, and on a regularly written piece of paper, that's about 3 pages. Step number 3, leave 45 seconds of blank tape. This will allow for any leader tape, as well as give you ample opportunity to get settled in when you listen to the tape later. Number 4, set your recording levels by doing a test. Simply record a few sentences, play it back, and if it's at the proper volume, continue from there. Step number 5, record your fractional relaxation from your script. If you don't have the script, then call Silver Enterprises at the phone number at the end of this video to get a copy for yourself. Rule number 6, continue with your pre-written program. That's the personalized program of 8 to 10 minutes that you wrote regarding the area you're working on right now. Number 7, give yourself a 5-count removal of trance. It sounds like this. On number 1, you feel relaxed and comfortable. On number 2, your body has a wonderful energy coursing through its veins. Number 3, you feel as if your body has been washed in a crystal clear brook. You feel fantastic. Number 4, your eyes and mind are washed in that brook. You are seeing and thinking more clearly. On the next number, number 5, open your eyes, wide awake, fully aware. Number 5. Some notes to think about. Be good to yourself and gentle on your own voice. The first time you hear your own voice on audio cassette, it can be a little bit shocking. Trust me, you do sound wonderful. Also, make sure that your program includes certain elements. The elements that it should include are a goal of what and how, being real specific. A visualization segment where you have yourself actually project into the future and be there. And finally, a reinforcement section. Listen to your tape for approximately 21 days. It takes about 21 days for a new habit to be affixed in your subconscious mind. And as you progress, you're going to need to re-record the cassette to keep up with those wonderful goals that you're attaining. There you have it. You've learned how to create psychosomatic response in your body, both in pendulum movement and arm levitation. You've learned how powerful your mind really is in directing your body. You've also learned the process of self-hypnosis, how to put yourself into trance by thinking the words, relaxing now. You learned how to do a 5-count and a 3-count removal of trance as well. I also gave you the rules of how your mind operates and how to structure mega-impactive hypnotic suggestions. Whether you take action on this process or not is up to you. Record the cassette. Live your life to its fullest. You are a powerful, intelligent, wonderful human being, and you're certainly worthy of all the good things this life has to give you. Until we meet again, may you live 10 years longer than I do, and I'm never going to die. Have a perfect life, and happy hypnotics.